Well, it's midday, and along the way, choose Voice for Veterans on Radio St. Pete online. It's time for information, some education, more entertainment, and conversation. We make it fun in the sun radio at your home, office, or on the run. Explore services that help veterans survive and keep your interests alive. It's Keith, the boss of the beach, now within your reach. On Radio St. Pete online, it's Voice for Vets. We're at your service and doing fine. Well, good morning, and good afternoon. For all of those who are listening today, we want to say this is, of course, WVET onlineradio.com and our new friends and our new designation, ontheairtoday.com. We're moving into a network situation where we can take this veterans program to everybody. Coming in, of course, it's February. Two things in February we all remember, and that's one is love. We want to thank everybody who sent out their love for our veterans and all of those veterans who gave their wives a special Valentine. We appreciate it. Again, this is also the beach, Keith, Voice for Veterans. And you're listening to us, of course, here. And this is St. Pete Radio and Sunshine Radio. Yesterday, I was downtown working on some things, and I want to tell everybody this is the place to be in America, especially this time of year when it's cold wherever you are, except here in St. Petersburg. I think our degrees was 81 yesterday, and we're going to have a 79 today, and it's beautiful down here, and all of our veterans are being well taken care of. I know in the last couple of weeks, we've designated a couple of special things that we talk about. And of course, my first one is always our veterans. Veterans Crisis Line, as I always say, is the place to call if you're having trouble. Veterans Crisis Line, 1-800-273-8255. You know, when you talk about a crisis line, you wonder exactly what they do and where they get their information. They get their information from everywhere: psychologists, hospitals, doctors, friends, and of course, our veterans and our military. So we're going to salute our military today because you have to be military before you become a veteran. And we always think about that. One of the things that I did want to say is I know right now this is our season for the Northerners who are coming down to visit us. If you ask anybody, tune in, of course, to WVET onlineradio.com or ontheairtoday.com, and especially 96.7 FM, Sunshine Radio right here. We want to thank everybody, and we want to say we got activities coming down here wherever you're from. Come and join us. I'm going to mention a couple of activities that are coming up right now that both respect our veterans and put the word out that they're looking for veterans. Come on by, enjoy the activities. One of them, of course, and I say it clearly, is our friends. And this is out there in Dade City Renaissance Festival. They have special days that they're offering for our veterans. And our veterans, and I think on Saturdays, get a $5 discount if you're coming on in. Enjoy yourself. These people are doing things to support the veteran families, armed forces families. And that's, of course, Saturday and Sunday, February 19th through April 3rd. And look it up. Come to our website, get all the information, rain or shine, free parking. Come on out. All you military people and veteran family members, please. We're going to be talking about that as we talk about Armed Forces Family Foundation. We're going to be talking a lot about that today, so I want you to stay with us. But right now, I want you to know that there's another big activity coming. And that is the Grand Prix. St. Petersburg, it's on its way, and they're reaching out and looking for veterans to come help do the work. They're asking for volunteers. They're asking for people to come out and do the work. So if you're anywhere near this area and you love the car thing, come on out. And of course, we always go out there to our car place, Quaker Steaks and Lube, and there's Larry. He services our veterans. He's a great man. He's a veteran, and he's always standing up for veterans. So if you're around, come on down. As we say, downtown St. Pete, entertainment cap of the world for Florida. If you're in New York, people go to Broadway for entertainment. If you're in California or Los Angeles, they go to Hollywood. Every city has its own little entertainment area. If you're in Miami, it's South Beach. Now, we know that the Tampa Bay area has its own major entertainment weekend capital. And of course, they always invite our veterans. Downtown, St. Petersburg is changing. One of the things that is going on in February, and most people aren't talking about it, but I'm going to mention it. You know that they're having the problem with the borderline of all the trucks being tied up. Of course, the Canada border, and of course, protecting Ottawa. And they have reached out, even on global news, and asking veterans. And of course, veterans are defending the memorial in Ottawa. Veterans have stood up to take care of that. So I know all the Canadians who are down here maybe not thinking about that too much, but we respect the veterans on our borders and, of course, our friends in Canada. Freedom Convoy asking all call to veterans assistance. And that's for immigration and everywhere else. Please stand with these people. One of the other things we're talking about, of course, is our COVID-19. And COVID-19 has made changes, but it hasn't devastated. A lot of people look at it as devastation, but as far as we know right now, it's cleaned up. A lot of our veterans have made it through. And when I got my shots, and I'm still recommending everybody, if you don't, go do it. When I got my shots, they had armed veterans standing there, taking care of everybody, helping get us in line, helping moving around, and knowing we had done the right thing. I got my picture with my vet, and I am great. And of course, it was the Coast Guard as well. They're helping. So we want to thank them now. COVID-19 is changing, and it's changed us already. There's a different way of looking at things. And that's why I always lead the show off with my friends over there at, of course, you heard it first, Veterans Crisis Line. The anguish that came from all of the news and the pressure about COVID created anguish for a lot of people, a lot of families, and veterans and military included. But they stood up, and we want to especially say thank you to those who supported all the veterans and all my friends, the veterans helping veterans worldwide all the time. We're saying thank you to them. If you get a chance, look up a little bit of information about what the veterans are doing in support of what's going on in our Canadian borders. Those are our friends. They have concern. They have some concerns. And of course, as a democratic society, we say, talk to each other. And I think that's what we're doing right now, talking to each other. We know now that this is a big community. At one time, it was a small community. Then it got to be a medium community. Now we're living in a big community, and that's more veterans still alive, coming out of the military, coming back, and we wish that they had that program called, I'm going to say it again, civilian boot camp. If I've been in the military overseas for a year and a half, 18 months out of 2 years or 2 years and a half, then I need reintegration. Civilian boot camp. Now, I'm going to take a quick break here, and then we're going to come back and talk about Armed Forces Families Foundation in support of veterans. But don't forget, everything is good when you know what you do and you do what you should. You heard it first right here, Falls to the Beach, and we're going to claim the words now. Up! Universal positive principle philosophy says everything is on the up and up. Stay tuned. Be right back. The Man in the Machine. You just heard it. And we're going to be playing a little bit more of that because of what we're talking about. The machines of life. The new machine in the world is the computer. But it was never as devastating as the change came when they had probably fire, you know. But they did a survey many years ago to talk about some of the technology that was coming along on the way and what made the biggest difference in the world. And it's still radio. Radio. And we know how it is, we know how it does, and we know that radio is the main part of it. What does that mean? It means communication, understanding, entertainment, and of course, information. And we're going to do that continually with this radio. And again, like I said, when we get back, we're going to be talking about one thing that is definitely something we need to be thinking about. And that's Armed Forces Families Foundation. Caring for those who care for our freedom. Caring for those who care for our freedom. You know, that's a big thing. And we want to thank all of those who participate in that program. We want to thank all of those who think about it. And we definitely want to say, come on and let's get on board for the rest of this run. The military is our way of saying we protect ourselves and we protect you too. That's a government agency that belongs to our government and a lot of other governments, the military. And when you leave the military, you become a veteran. There are a lot of services that come along with it, but the camaraderie that comes with this program makes a big difference. The first thing is, yes, about Armed Forces Families Foundations is a main subject because it integrates what happens in the military and what happens after the military. We all know that the first line of support for our troops is their families. Oftentimes, those family members don't have a support they need to endure the difficulties surrounding long deployment. The Armed Forces Families Foundations was established to help and give those families a sense of community support and well-being while their loved ones are away fighting for our freedom. Now, when they come back, those same people are there to help integrate that family back into a community that makes a difference. All of them put together make that difference. So we don't want you to ever get lost in the fact that a veteran, has to step out on his own. He still has his military friends. He still has the military there to back him up. And that's why you find in the long time and in the long run and a long way down the road after different war skirmishes, the soldiers who come back kind of reside in the area where they were deployed from. Again, in our area right now, we're the new kings of the block. Many years ago, World War II, everybody coming back off the Western battle lines in the Pacific seemed to have all integrated in California. A lot of veterans in Northern California, a lot of veterans in Seattle, Washington, and most of them stayed in San Diego and Oceanside. If you ever been down there, Coronado is still a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place. The base is still there, and a lot of the people who live there from Palm Springs on down are retired veterans. Well, we're in the Tampa Bay area now. So everything from Fort Myers to Zephyr Hills and in between and west all the way to I guess, Dade City, Lakeland is a part of the Tampa Bay area. And guess what? We have a lot of veterans retiring in our area from all over the country, making Tampa Bay the new place to be. The camaraderie is here. You still have your military, and you now have more veterans that military can help. But it's the veterans helping veterans that are making the difference. Help military families. The commitment is, our commitment is, has led to the completion of multiple projects that will benefit the families of all our servicemen and women for years to come. That's veteranization. Helping military families and veteran families. A complete list of the AFFF projects, or to make a donation, please visit the website, armedforcesfamilies.org. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful organization, and they mean so much to this community. Again, you want to be grateful for 96.7 and all the other community radio stations that are included in this market. We know that low power stations have been around for a few years, but they're now beginning to catch on. And the rest of it is all on the internet. On the air today.com is a new way to look for what veteranization is doing. And we're going to talk about several of the organizations that really do support veterans. I'm going to talk about the main three that everybody else talks about. DAV. Okay? I got my DAV calendar right in front of me. A year to remember. The DAV is still here. And of course, they're one of those veterans organizations that support veterans activities all over the country. And they have a wonderful DAV group in Central Florida, and they do a big event here every year. So look for DAV, okay? And of course, our friends out of Jacksonville that are over here now in the Tampa area, and that's the Tampa Wounded Warriors, okay? Our friends at Wounded Warriors, a wonderful VSO. That's a Veterans Service Organization. Wonderful people. And they have stepped up to help, of course, the Wounded Warriors. And that's both physical and mental. So if you see a DAV sign up there, support them. Of course, always our American Legions. Always our American Legions. They have stood up and offered their services in a lot of different ways over the years. And we want to say yes. And again, it was down there at the St. Petersburg Chamber of Commerce. We salute all of them. They have been hosting a lot of things to support our veterans. So feel free to contact them and see what's going on. That really helps. Another reason that I really do support what the organization Armed Forces Families Foundation, what they're doing in helping our veterans, is their counseling services. Okay? We know that the mobile computer lab has replaced elementary school, older computer technology, enhancing the classroom curriculum. These computers allow students to video chat with their parents overseas, the facilities and parent-teacher conferences that they have deployed. This is one of the ways they reach out in the community, and that's the mobile services. You know, when you look around for all of the things that's going to affect us in the future, some of these young people who are out here and some of our young veterans is our best line of defense. You know, when a young man is 18 and he joins the military and he travels the world, that is the beginning of his brain clicking into what he's going to carry for the future. He already knew what he wanted by the time he was 9 or 10, but he used the military as a way to hone his capabilities. Education is still the true way. So when I looked up and found out what they're doing to support veterans by working with the young people, by putting together this mobile unit and sending them out to the communities and the schools, that's what we're talking about. Community involvement. And our diverse community, of course, over here in this part of Florida, is doing big things. And of course, if you're down there, you're checking out our guys down there, Michael and the Black Man and Waddell McGee and them, all of them in the Miami veterans area. And we're saluting, of course, Jonathan Black. And he helped set up the Chamber of Commerce down there in the Miami area and are helping us up here to establish what they're doing with a veterans group. We have a veterans Latin group that has their chamber right here in this market, and it's all about servicing the veteran. And I found this out by following some of the news that comes with the foundation. Armed Forces Military Foundation, and reaches all the way out to all of our veterans. And we again want to thank them. I'm also going to talk about a few other of the VSOs in the state of Florida because they reach in different areas, but especially in our area. Women Veterans of America, Asian Veterans of America, Disabled Jewish Veterans Foundation. And this came out of what happened with World War II. And it was established many years ago. It still exists. And they're working closely with the international areas because Florida is international. More people are moving to the state of Florida than any place else on the planet, I hear. We need our veterans taken care of because it represents us in a way. And in the Tampa area, and of course here in St. Petersburg, all of those are listening to 96.7. Call your friends and tell them information, education, entertainment, and fun for all. Tune into the radio station. We're giving you everything that we can and directing you to the other information area. I know if you're trying to listen to music, we're playing a lot of our music from our local artists in this area because we're dealing with our veterans. I heard that our friend, Sean Buckmaster, had a little bit of stroke, heart attack, something got him, but he's back home. He's doing fine. He's the veteran that introduced me to where I'm dealing with, of course, Soundcheck Studios and all of the people over there. We thank them. And Tim seems to be doing fine, and Sean's doing fine. And these are the veterans who have stood up in the program, and they helped design what we do now. Veterans helping veterans worldwide all the time. I love that. Never going to disappear. It'll be here just like the VFWs of the world. Veterans Foreign Services. Still here, still doing things. And we respect them. Same thing we got here with our veterans who are doing the music. You know, I came out of the music business. Still love it. And still going to do it, but they got me into talk radio, which started with my dad years ago, who had a radio show called Talk Fest, ended up being a TV program on NBC, I think, in Huntsville, Alabama, where I was raised. Of course, that's Redstone Arsenal. We want to salute all those people in that area. Now, American Alliance for Disabled Veterans, and one of my favorites, Veterans Burial with Dignity. And you can find them online. You can go to burialwithdignity.org and you will see what they're doing. And with the COVID problem that exists in the last couple of years, people have died everywhere. And the Burial with Dignity program is a great one. They have found some people who needed help, and we've given them help. So we want to say hello to all of the people with Burial with Dignity and Edwina over there. We appreciate what you're doing, especially in this area. And, of course, when I say Southern California, I mean it, because a lot of people have died down there. What they have done in New York, and they're still going to be doing what they're doing in New York because it's on the East Coast. It's a little bit better. And Burial with Dignity has stood up. Society of Hispanic Veterans. That's another organization you don't hear much about them, but they are active doing things in the Latin community. Of course, it came out of Texas and Southern California, and it was Hispanic was the big word back there 18, 20 years ago when they started this. But we lived in Miami, the home office moved to Miami, and it's still the same, but they're really working with the Latin community. All of the Spanish-speaking veterans, and we know that in this war, a lot of them were, of course, not drafted, but got into it, of course, for their citizenship. So we salute them, and this organization is growing. We have established the Veterans Online Radio, WVET Latin. It's right there. Tune it in. Carlos Kelly, a veteran, help us provide the music, and of course, Soundcheck Studios has embedded it, and we have a lot of good Latin music. We do have the Hispanic Women Veterans Foundation and the Latin Wounded Warriors, National Society of Military Spouses. Man, I fooled around there and found out that a lot of the military spouses were men, because it was the women that were the military people. That made challenges, because when it was established, it was 99% men. Now it's down to is 59% men or 60% men, and the other 40% are women. So when we say National Society of Military Spouses, you got some men that are the spouses. And they are now collaborating and helping support some of the young men who are going into the military and some of those young couples, and the wife is going into the military. We're also finding that a lot of the military spouses, the family members are both in the military. So there are new challenges of making this veteranization work within the veterans community. Again, veterans helping veterans worldwide all the time. What a way to say it. And we support vets too. We support vets too. That's all of us. And I'll be working on this campaign from London to LA and from Miami to Malaysia. Veterans, let's get up. Let's be counted as those who are helping other veterans, especially our veterans organizations. Especially our veterans organizations. We got to do it because we should. And I'm going to give a real special shout out, of course, to all of our people there who have stepped up and helped us at the Renaissance Festival. It's going to be on for a while. You got until February. The rest of it, please come on out, enjoy yourself, and look for us. And of course, you can check everything out. I'm going to say, don't forget, all of us who support veterans organizations and those who help support us. The Paul Murray Studios has stepped up. He's a veteran, and he's done some major things, and he's one of our big supporters. So if you feel like you want to learn a little bit more, go to resources at WVETonlineradio.com and check out all of those who have been there. And look up Paul Murray Studios, because he's on the road with a mobile, and he's willing to take pictures with all of the veterans. He's a great, great, great photographer, and he's helped out many years other veterans. Again, we salute all of those who are listening to it, and we're going to go back, and we're going to do a little bit more of the man and the machine. Everything is going good, and everything is going better. And as we say here, Keith, the boss of the beach, look up, and you might be hearing us on 96.7. And don't forget, Saturday morning, 8:30, we'll be back on. Enjoy the show. Stay on the go. Over and out with the South.